Hi everyone, welcome back to another tutorial today. In this video, we're going to learn how to make this shawl blazer dress that is double breasted. If that is what you want to learn how to make from beginning to the end, just like the way it is, keep watching this video till the very end. If you've not subscribed, do what to subscribe. Make sure you like this video and let's head straight to it. Firstly, you'll be needing your basic bodice front in full. As you can see, my own is in full. Right, I have my neckline that I haven't cut out, which is in the basic, my waist dart, my side bust dart. All right, so if you have your pattern like this, you head over to the next thing, which is to attach a fresh pattern paper to the top part of your pattern like so. Now you're coming inwards by 1 inch from where your neckline started. And I'm going to be marking the depth of my shawl collar, though I didn't use it, but it's necessary you do this. I have to mark the depth of my shawl collar. Now, from that 1 inch, using my ruler, I'm going to be marking in my roll line. I want my roll line to stop somewhere around the second dart. Like I said, it's a double-breasted. It's a double-breasted shawl collar blazer dress. So my roll line is going to be stopping here at the waistline, as you can see, all the way up. The next thing you do is to take your back bodies and measure from your center back to this very part of the shoulder, so you get the measurement of the round neckline of your back bodies. Remember, it's one side of the back. So mine is 2.8 inches. I just rounded it up to 3 inches. From this point, I'll be measuring upwards 3 inches and I'll be marking a dot. Also on this point, I'm measuring upwards 3 inches and I would mark a dot. Using my ruler, I'll square a line across those dotted lines or those dotted points that I made. Now I'm going to be extending the roll line to get to that 3 inches. Right? I'm going to be extending the roll line to get to that 3 inches. The next thing I'm going to do, if you watch from the roll line to that point, the 1 inch has reduced. So we want to make sure it is still 1 inch. So I had to measure out the 1 inch correctly like so, and I kind of joined it to this point. It's giving that kind of 90 degrees, whatever. Okay, so that's how it is. Now from my waistline, please, not the hip line. It's actually a mistake here. It's the waistline, please, not the hip line. I went upwards by 2.5 inches. And from that 2.5 inches to my waistline, I have 5 inches diagonal line. Please, you're going to see it. I had to correct it, but I didn't notice it while I was filming. But I'll correct it while I am drawing in the shawl collar. So from this point, I'm going to be making a kind of a light line all the way to the point of the shawl collar. Please, you guys, remember, it's not the hip, it's the waistline. I'm going to be correcting that right now and you will see it. So I've corrected it and this is what it is. Okay. Now you want to bear in mind that this 1 inch is actually your collar stand. We've not measured the actual collar. It is your collar stand. Do not worry, as we go on, you understand better. I just had to do this to show you guys what the shawl collar will look like. But it is going to be starting from the collar stand and we will be doing that right now. This 1 inch is the collar stand. The shawl collar is going to be starting from the real collar or the actual collar. So, but we're going to be doing that right away. Now I'm going to be extending, or I'm going to be marking from the collar stand, or from the last 1 inch, 1.5 inches. You can use 2 inches. 2 inches should be your maximum. Then I'm going to be connecting that 1.5 inches all the way to the shawl collar like so. So that 1.5 inches is actually my actual collar. Then the 1 inch is my collar stand. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm going to be tracing the whole of this part outwards to this other part. I'm going to have to trace it out and this is what it looks like. Now the roll collar, I'm going to be extending it all the way down to the hemline like so. As you can see, that very folded part that it is prominent is my center front. It's a double-breasted dress, so I'll go ahead now to start cutting. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do want to subscribe. Click the bell notification icon so you'll be notified whenever I post lovely tutorials like this. And do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. Share it to other sewing platforms where you feel they will also be needed. Thank you. So from time to time, I keep on folding this to make sure, or folding this to make sure it's in line or it's in place. If you watch closely, you find out the place that I cut out. Okay, I left the collar stand, the 1 inch collar stand. So you fold this like this. This is what it's going to look like. If you kind of take it inwards to be the collar, can you see the collar stand and the actual collar? So that was what I was trying to explain then. Everything together is going to be giving me 1.5 inches. Sorry, 2.5 inches because I use 1 inch and 1.5 inches. Now, the next thing you want to do is to cut out your darts. We are going to be sewing up these darts. Remember, it's a fitted dress. We are going to be sewing up these darts, all right? So we're going to be sewing the darts up. You have to cut them out so you can be able to mark out the dart parts in your fabric, onto your fabric. So you're just going to be cutting these parts out. And having done that, this is the pattern you'll be needing. Now, that first pattern we did was for the left, the part that overlapped. You're cutting the pattern for the part that is inwards. Remember, this dress is like there's a one that is inwards and another one is overlapping it. Now, this pattern is for the one that is inwards. If you watch the lower part of it is in full, it has to be in full so that when the one that is overlapped comes, you don't have any part of your body that is showing it. Okay, it just overlaps it, like just hanging there. It's free, right? So this is that part of the dress that is inwards before the other one, which is actually the right, overlaps it. So when you're cutting this one, you have to cut it like so. Then when you're cutting for the overlap, you will cut it into the double-breasted design. That means the lower part is not going to be in full. You will take out the part that is not, that we removed while cutting the double-breasted. If you check the pattern we drafted before we started cutting out on the fabric, that is what the overlapped pattern is going to look like. I will explain further as we go on in this tutorial. You will see it, and I hope you understand better as we go on in this tutorial. So I'm cutting the actual fabric now. That is what I'm cutting now. The actual fabric, that is what I'm cutting now. Now for the back bodies, you just have to remove the darts. There's nothing much to do to the back bodies. Just take out your darts. Like I said, you sew it up because it's going to be a fitted dress. So just take out the darts. So now this is your back bodies, and I'm going ahead to cut it out on my fabric. We are going to be having a zipper, so that very part you'll be giving a zipper allowance space. All right, we are going to be having a zipper. I'll be using a zipper to close up this. That button is just a fancy. I'm not using a buttonhole or whatever. So I'm cutting out my back bodies now on the main fabric, not the lining. The lining is very important in this design. Okay, so your pattern for the main fabric is also your pattern for the lining. We are going to be showing you everything. I'm going to be showing everything here. Whatever pattern you use for your main dress is also your pattern for your lining. The lining is very important because of that color, that white color, that is the shawl color. So your lining is very, very important. Like I said, this is the main fabric. That's what I'm cutting right now. So I'm marking out the dart part so I can be able to sew it on the fabric with my sewing machine. So you have to also do this. Just mark it out and sew it up. Now for the lining, like I said, the patterns that we cut out previously on the fabric is the main fabric. So for the lining, you're supposed to use a white fabric for the whole of the lining, but I bought black. I haven't figured it out by then. So in order to incorporate that white into the shawl collar, you have to cut out this part. Now this part is going to be white. Can you see I wrote white on it? This part is going to be white, whereas the rest is going to be black, meaning you're going to be sewing it with your sewing machine to join the white and the black together. Do not worry, you will see it as we go on. So I went ahead to cut the lining. Okay. So I went ahead to cut the lining out. Can you see that? Like I said, the pattern for the main fabric and the pattern for the lining, they are the same thing. It's just that if you're buying yours, make sure you use white for the lining. It's going to save you this stress of cutting out, doing this. If you use white, you don't need to cut out. You just cut everything on top of the white fabric for your lining, whereas the main fabric is going to be black. But since I bought black already, I didn't figure it out. It was while I was drafting the pattern or trying to get the design, that was when I figured out, oh, the lining is supposed to be white. So here it is now. This is what I'm working on it. So if you have black already, you're going to do exactly what I'm doing right now. So that part that is white, you're going to cut it out and of course join it to this part like so. Do not worry, you're going to be seeing everything. So now I'm going to have to sew up the darts of the main fabric. This is the main fabric. I'm going to have to sew up the darts of the main fabric. I don't know why this fabric refused to straighten out properly despite spraying water and all that, but it's fine. Now this is the overlap. Can you see what I told you about the overlap? Can you do you understand the concept now? This is what I told you guys about the overlap. I'm just using the actual fabric to explain, right? So these are the back pieces. I'm going to have to sew up the darts for the back pieces. In the sewing tutorial, the first thing you want to do is to join the back pieces together from this top, let's say 3 inches below or 4 inches below. You want to join it together. I'm going to have to join it. The next thing I'm going to do is to take the front piece and place right side upon right side of the front facing right side of the back, and I'm going to be joining them together on the shoulder. I'm going to be joining them together on the shoulder, right side facing right side of the front and the back. Be sure you're placing it well. So we're going to be joining them on the shoulder. Haven't joined them on the shoulder. Remember, there is a collar at the back. So we're also going to be stitching this together like so. We're going to be stitching it together. So you want to make sure that that stitch aligns with your center back so you can join it together and form your round shawl collar for the main piece before we do the same thing to the lining piece. So I'm going to have to sew it up. Can you see that? Can you see what it looks like? I'm going to have to sew it up. Can you see what it looks like? So we are going to be doing this same exact thing to the lining piece. Exact way we joined this front piece, we are going to be joining the lining piece together that way. So this is my lining piece. Like I said, I had to use the white. You see that white stuff I did, I joined it together. I also sewed up my darts for the lining piece. Very important. Whatever you do to the main piece is what you're going to do to the lining. So this is my lining piece. Can you see that? The shawl effect. Can you see what it looks like? So I'm going to be doing that same exact thing, joining the back and the front, right side facing right side on the shoulder, sewing them all up on the collar for the lining piece. I'm going to have to do that for the lining piece, and we are going to be joining the main bodies and the lining together, right side facing right side. So I'm going to be joining them together. You want to be very careful in sewing this. Trust me, be careful and you're going to get it. Sew it very well, like take it step by step. If possible, use your pins to hold it down at the hem first before you go ahead to sew the top part of it. And be sure you've sewn your zipper first to the center back before doing this. So I'm gonna have to sew up the whole stuff, like turn out the line and everything. And this is what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. The next thing now is to shapen it from the sides using your measurement. The front and the back together is now a whole piece. So we're going to be shaping it from the sides using the measurement that you actually have. And I attached my sleeve, and at the end, this is what we have. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.